6, and I wanted to talk about something a little bit personal of mine, and that is the fact that I have not been employed in over almost a year now. And part of that almost entirely is by choice. I've only really been on one job interview. The last job I had, I was working for the U.S. Census, but that was only about a month's worth of work. 2 months, but it was mostly part-time. And it paid pretty well, but again, it was part-time. And this has been kind of a somewhat choice, partly, but also I've just, my mood and my social anxiety and depression have also influenced my kind of lack of desire to look for work, and I've been living off savings. And I live in San Francisco, if I haven't mentioned that enough in my previous videos. And it's something that is, or it's a place that is relatively expensive to live. My rent is about $770 a month. And I have pruned back, I've really meticulously over the last 4 or 5 years where I haven't been employed consistently, my expenses back to the bone. I mean, I have other roommates, so that helps with my expenses in terms of splitting the electricity bill, splitting the internet. Even we have cable, which is a luxury that I wouldn't have if I lived alone. That gets split. So all these costs, greatly are reduced. I still have to pay, obviously, for all my own food. And but I don't go out to eat. I have a cell phone, but I pay for my own minutes. I don't have health insurance. I don't have a car. I don't have a dental plan. I don't have vision or for glasses or anything like that. These are things that I have to pay for if I do get sick or have to visit the dentist and things like that. Generally, I just don't go. And really, I don't mean for this to be really a sad story at all. But what it has taught me is of course, the value of money. I think that when you come from a relatively comfortable background, and you haven't really gone through a period of what is effectively poverty. I mean, technically, I've had an impoverished income for probably 3 out of the last 4 years. But at the same time, that's not necessarily true because I've had savings that I've been augmenting with that income or below that income. So, but generally, I'm spending less than $15,000 a year, and especially over the last year, I've really pruned down expenses to be almost to the level of bare minimum. I'm short of moving in with my parents or something like that, which I don't plan on doing. But my point being is that I've really learned how little you can live off of, and also I've learned to deny myself things like I don't eat out, and I don't spend money on extravagant anything. I buy everything on sale. I always look and think about whether this is a purchase on impulse or a purchase of necessity. And what that's really taught me is that almost everything that you want to buy is a purchase of impulse and isn't really necessary to live your life, and even necessary to live a fulfilling life. And I'm not really suggesting a Spartan or kind of a minimalist lifestyle, but it's been a reminder that so much of what is good in life is really relatively inexpensive, and the things that you can do are relatively still very cheap and fundamental to in leading a relatively fulfilling life. I mean, just having the internet. I mean, if I wanted to, I could switch down to the cheapest internet. It cost me, like $19 a month or something like that for basic broadband. It wouldn't be great, but it would be, the full panoply of what the internet has to offer, more or less. And so, it has been an eye-opening experience. And if and when I can get a better paying job, I think that I'm going to have a better outlook about what money is and the relative lack of value it has. I mean, obviously, if you're starving or you don't have a home, I mean, I'm not talking about those type of issues, and those are very serious issues, but I am talking about the kind of frivolous purchases and the way that we spend money. I was talking to my roommate, and she doesn't make a lot of money, but she works like two jobs, and she's a waitress and a bartender, and those pay relatively well if you get the right jobs. And she was talking about how she spent like $200 on a dinner with her friend, and it wasn't even like a special dinner; it was just going out to dinner. And I just kind of like caught myself, and I kind of gasped. I was like, $200? That's a tremendous amount of money to me. And it sunk in like how my perspective had radically changed over the last really half decade, almost 5 years now. And I don't know. I don't. I don't know where it's going to lead, and I need to find a job. But in a way, I feel like partly I'm a better person for it in that one small area. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye bye.